Let's do something a little different for this episode, huh? A little different intro for this, huh? All right, ready? Ready for this? And in this corner, standing at 5'8", pasty from head to toe, no longer has a mullet, but it's coming back with a vengeance. Circa Craft. And in the opposite corner, standing taller than 5'8", tattooed from head to tippy toe, James Armstrong. Yeah. So anyways, this is going to be a really cool episode. I took a little small trip down to Athens, Georgia for Pain and Wonder Tattoo. Thank you for letting me come in, get a tattoo, set up my stuff, and do a podcast. It was an awesome experience. But most importantly, thank you to my guest coming up, James Armstrong on Instagram, James Armstrong Tattoo. Did a great job. We just kind of went through all of it, talked about tattoos, the process, his background, and all the cool information. If you are interested in getting a tattoo, or maybe you are wondering about the intricacies of a tattoo, check this podcast out. It's a great episode. We get into the weeds and hash it out a little bit and discuss all the things about it. So, again, great episode. Let's get into it. Can you hear
me? Good.
Fine. Still about the same? All right. Turn it down a little bit. It's because I'm closer. Towards you?
Yeah, that's perfect.
All right. You hear? You hear fine? All right, man. Fucking, what is this? Episode 32? I don't know. 32? 33? I don't know.
32.
Fuck, man. They all kind of blend together. I'm here with my man James Armstrong. Dude, don't get upset if I say this. Maybe I shouldn't say it while you're tattooing. James, you look like a Post Malone of tattooing, dude. Yeah, man, we're in here in Athens, Georgia. What's the name of the shop, man?
Pain and Wonder.
Pain and Wonder. I'm gonna be honest. This hurts more than I thought it would. Oh, hey, we're in here, man. No, it's not that bad. Oh, we're in here getting a tattoo. It's actually my first tattoo, dude. Never had a tattoo before.
I thought you might have had one.
No, man. No, dude. No. Can't tell. Yeah, man. So we're in here doing this. Came down, and so without asking too much, I don't want you to get distracted too much, obviously. But how long have you been tattooing, man?
This year makes 7.5 years.
I got you.
It's been a long 7.5 years, though.
Long 7.5 years. So one thing is, like, how did you get into tattooing?
So my sister is married to this guy, Jason, and he worked at a smoke shop, at a tattoo shop. And my mom would always palm me off on my sister. So I'd go hang out at the tattoo shop. And I slowly started gauging my ears and stretching them. And then I joined the military after I got out of high school. Mm-hmm. And I'd always been interested in tattooing, but I'd never thought that I could possibly do this.
Yeah.
Just because it seemed like a lot.
Yeah.
And when I joined the Army during my first tour, we had lost a lot during that first 6 or 7 months. Mm-hmm. And everybody was down in the dumps, and everybody was upset, rightfully so. And I was like, what can I do to bring the morale up? And I was like, I can order a tattoo guy. And start tattooing people. Yeah. Because I totally know how to do it, even though I'd never done it ever.
Yeah.
And so I got with my brother-in-law. I was like, tell me everything I need to order or buy. And I'm going to order it, and I'm going to start tattooing people over here. And he's like, well, that's a bad idea. And I was like, no, I can handle it. I was like, I watch y'all do it all the time. I can do this. And I ordered everything, started tattooing, obviously fucking people up. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing at all.
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say. So, like, I mean, that's like kind of a tough job to get started on too, because like, how exactly do you get involved? Like, how do you get started? Because I mean, you're not gonna have good tattoos in your beginning, or maybe some people do, but you know, like when you get started off, like.
Well, I mean, to get into the industry, first of all, is extremely hard.
Really?
I'd say maybe 5% of everybody who wants to be a tattooer goes about it and gets in the right way, which is drawing your ass off, having a portfolio of drawings, going to a tattoo shop, having them like you enough to bring you in, and then doing an apprenticeship that's either 1 to 2 years long. When you do apprenticeships, do you pretty much get paid like nothing? Not at all. Yeah. It's not paid at all. And on top of that, it's like being in a frat or sorority where you get hazed nonstop. Oh, which they don't really do it anymore because yeah. Well, I mean, I can't like cancel culture and stuff. Yeah. And a lot of the shit that they would do during it is pretty fucked up. Like, I've had some fucked up shit done to me, but I honestly think in the end, I was better for it. So, can you give an example? Like, what's an example of like hazing ritual for tattooing? They wrapped me in saran wrap, naked. Oh, drew dicks all over me. I've had that happen. Put me on the middle of the interstate. So it's like a combo of all three. Yeah. Oh shit. Oh damn, dude. But I mean, that's some. I'm not traumatized by it. Yeah, I mean, well, you know, some people I can understand where some people can be. Yeah. You know, some people just can't handle stuff like that. And although I would never do nothing like that, I could definitely see where it's fucked up. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess like, you know, everyone has different tolerances for stuff like that. Like, you know, some people can handle things like that, and some people are like, I don't want to say soft, but you know, just that's pretty traumatizing. You know, be butt fucking naked on the middle of the interstate. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it is a lot like being in the military, and I tell people too. Like when I first came back, the therapist, whatever, they make us go see. They said, she's like, so do you think that you have PTSD? And I was like, no. I was like, I'm fine. I'm good to go. And honestly, I think I was to an extent. But she's like, what makes you so different from everybody else? And I said, well, I think there's two types of people in the world. People that are made to go to war and people that aren't. Mm-hmm. And the ones that sign up to go to college, the ones that sign up to get away from their hometowns, those aren't the people that are made to go to war. Yeah. The ones that like rightfully want to serve their country, the ones that when a firefight pops off, automatically jumps to their training, does what they need to do, and moves forward and advances. Those are the people that's made for it. And the ones that don't have, you know, PTSD or smaller levels of it, those are the ones that are made for it, you know. And I think that played out a lot during my apprenticeship, is that it didn't really faze me. I mean, yeah, it made me want to not come back a couple of times. But I mean, it's like being accused by your older brother. Yeah. You know that it's fucked up at the time, but you know they do it out of love. Yeah. Because they want to make you better. They want to make sure that you're gung-ho about it. Happen, that you're not just going to dip out in the middle of your career and never come back. Yeah. You know? Make the investment worth it. I mean, that's like a problem like a lot of times these days is, you know, people kind of dipping in and out of it, you know, right in the middle of a career, or like, you know, someone investing their time and effort, and then all of a sudden they're off to the next thing or something different, or they find out, hey, they're not really about it. Yeah. Are you from Georgia? Are you from Athens? Or are you from this area? Or did you come from somewhere else? I mean, I'm from Georgia originally. Okay. My dad was Master Sergeant Army for a long time. And his family was in Southeast Georgia, down in Brunswick. And I joined the military from there. Okay. All right. And I did the whole military thing, and when I got out, I moved back home. But when I started tattooing, I wanted to get better, and the only way to get better is to work around people who are way better than you.
Yeah.
So I moved wherever I could to be around people that would help me be better. So what got me down first, I moved out of Brunswick down to Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah.
And then that was because my grandfather passed away, and I moved down there to help my grandmother out.
I got you.
And then that's where I actually started tattooing full time, after I quit when I got out of the military. Because when I quit, there wasn't really any good shops when I got back home. And then after that, I tattooed in Jacksonville for a year and a half. Moved down to South Florida. Tattooed in South Florida for about a year and a half. And then my buddy Dave was like, yo, we need a guy that can do a little bit of everything up here in Athens. I said, well, I got a family, man. I can't just move on a whim.
Yeah.
And he's like, we'll pay you to move up here.
Oh, shit. So tattoo shops, they're pretty gung-ho about stuff like that. Like, different... Yeah, I guess they're willing to invest in an artist to keep them up or to get them or, obtain them.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Not all the time. I mean, normally the artist wants to go to that shop.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if they're hurting bad enough, sometimes they'll go out of their way to pull somebody to come work for them. And I mean, I was nobody then, and I feel like I'm a nobody now. I just do nicer tattoos.
Yeah.
Now than I did then. So I moved up here. The tattoo shop was in a mall. The mall was dying. Came to a point where it was either move back home or find a new shop here. So I found a new shop here. Worked there for about 3.5 years. Needed to move on and find some new motivation, so I came here. And that's where I'm at now.
I got you, man. So how long have you been at this shop, like this one in particular?
January, March, April, May. I'd say about 8 months.
8 months? Okay, so less than a year, though.
Yeah, it's fairly
I got you.
But coming here, we became close really quick, honestly. And I don't know what it is about the shop. It's definitely got a lot to do with the guys. We formed that camaraderie super fast.
Yeah. Now, so the one thing I can imagine is being a tattoo shop in a fucking college town, too. Makes things kind of wild, and you guys get consistent folks all the time. But, did that change the perspective, or are there ever tattoos that you have to do that you don't want to do? Or that you're kind of it's just a part of the gig, part of the job?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't like dealing with all the snooty bullshit that comes with fraternities and sororities.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any tattoo that
you frown upon.
I mean, I don't do gang-related stuff.
Yeah.
I don't do racist, transphobic stuff, but that's just because I don't personally believe in that shit. I think it's wrong,
Right.
But as far as done tattoos, everybody has their story.
Yeah.
Everybody has a meaning to something. So who am I to say that's not important to them,
That's a good point, man.
So, it is what it is. Some people would be like, oh, I hate doing infinity symbols. I hate doing names, or I hate doing this. It's I don't give a shit, man. I got to pay my light bill.
Yeah. So with tattooing and stuff, is there an advancement status, or I don't want to say a ranking, but I guess a ranking, so a master, apprentice, green, is there any kind of ranking when it comes to tattoos?
Not really. I mean, you have your apprentices, but I know apprentices, they're out there that have just started tattooing. They're blowing dudes that have been tattooing for 15 years out the water.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But just because of that doesn't mean they're going to get the respect that somebody who's been tattooing for 15 years.
Yeah.
So it really it depends on the person more than anything. If you're super humble, super down to earth, make nice tattoos, but they're not the greatest, you're gonna get more respect than somebody who makes ridiculously good tattoos, but
They're
are
pompous
big-headed
ass,
assholes.
jackass. Yeah. Are there? I mean, there's gonna be dickheads in any profession, but is there a bunch of like? Is there a proportion of dickheads like in tattoo shops, or is it pretty?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You have your elitists, just like any other profession. Just like in the gun world, you have these elitist assholes that have
I'm just kidding.
basic weapons that they're charging ridiculous amounts of money for.
Oh yeah.
And then you have these tattooers who are literally tattooing you out in the woods in the middle of nowhere, scribbling on you and charging you $350 an hour.
Jeez.
And you're making scabs on people for a living. Where the fuck do you get off doing that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, people, I don't know. I mean, I guess everyone's different or has a different mindset. I guess that's some of it is the mindset part. They're like,
oh, you're getting mental clarity from it. We're like, well, you can go to the range and get mental clarity.
Yeah.
You can smoke the J and get mental clarity. So it's all perspective.
Yeah. Do you get a lot of people coming in asking for like gang stuff to get done, or?
Back in the day, I think there's a little bit more of it than now.
Yeah.
But when those people want to get tattooed, they do stuff at their house.
I was gonna say,
it's
like, I imagine
on that house tattoo level.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was gonna say. I could see that they do some of that stuff internal and stuff like that. Because I was gonna say, I know, like when this is just based when I was watching the show, but like I'll see when cops if they know they pulled over a gang member, they see a bunch of specific tattoos, they'll go ahead and snap pictures of them and stuff like that. I'm about to say, I didn't know if you ever had cops come in who'd be like, we have I don't know if there's a kind of confidentiality and stuff like that where.
No. I mean, that's another reason I don't do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to get mixed up.
I was about to say, yeah, it's the best part of not having to.
Let me be like, oh yeah, I did this tattoo on this guy, and the next thing I know, I'm getting shot at.
Yeah, that's true, man.
Or I'm having a reason to use my concealed carry.
Yeah.
Which I'm definitely a firm believer in.
Hell yeah. So, like, one thing I'll say about tattoos is, what's like the prime hour for people getting tattoos? Is like the late night thing, kind of a thing, like, or how late are you guys open till?
Back in the day, man, people would come super late. I remember my first shop I worked in, we stayed up until 2 a.m. And people would come get tattooed that late because it'd be, the middle of the night. They're like, fuck it, whatever, let's go get tattooed. Yeah. But now, I live that dad life.
Yeah, you can't afford. Yeah, you can't do that. Yeah.
I'm like up at 9 a.m. I get to the shop at 10. I try to get all my appointments over by 5. That way I can go home and spend time with the family.
Yeah.
And to me, I probably wouldn't be where I'm at without them. To be honest, they keep me grounded. I know when I had my daughter, like I was a hard motherfucker back in the day, and I say that because like of the deployments I got under my belt. The fact that I've been through the stuff that I have, and then my daughter comes along, and I'm going to watch The Good Dinosaur at movie theaters, and they got me fucking tearing up in the corner. And my daughter's like, "It's okay, Daddy.
Damn.
It's okay. You don't gotta cry."
Damn, dude.
But I mean, yeah, they give me a good sense of being. They make me feel grounded, and they make me a better person, honestly.
Yeah. Do they so like one thing I was going to ask about tattooing and just in general is like is tattooing one of those kind of things where you kind of need to have a background in drawing or like design, or is it one of those things as long as you're able to put application down? Or is it kind of a mixed bag?
This is a big controversy, I think, in our industry. I couldn't draw a fucking stick figure. When I was younger, I'd draw a lot. I'd draw like barns and shit.
Yeah.
But when it came to like really drawing anything crazy, I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And so when I got my apprenticeship, learning how to do traditional stuff, drawing Polynesian stuff, all that, I didn't know what the hell I was doing at all. So like that's where your apprenticeship comes in. And the guy would be like, draw 200 roses. draw 200 skulls, draw 200 shamrocks.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? But then you got guys like my buddy Joe, who works here with us, and he's gone to art school and he's got all these accolades, but not a lot of stuff transfers over to tattooing in the art world. Some of it does, but a lot of it is just being in the industry for a little while.
Right.
And having things come naturally, like a natural progression from learning more than anything.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, it's like one of those things where you kind of you can pick up on. Because, I mean, like, especially with today, with the advancement of, like, technology. So, like, we were talking about it before we started, like Procreate versus Adobe, stuff like that. It kind of changes. By the way, I'm putting it on live if you're okay. Hell yeah. So that's the one cool thing about, like, technologies. It kind of gives you a lot of that retrospect, and there's so many tutorials now and things of, like, how to use and, like, utilization and skill and tips and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's like, there's no reason why you have to have a background in that. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, as long as the client's getting what they're wanting or, then, that's one thing. And I would imagine if someone is specifically going somewhere for creativity, and they probably already know who they're going towards anyways, et cetera, et cetera.
And a lot of times, I think the back end of that, the bad part of it is we as tattooers expect clients to know more about tattooing than they actually do.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of clients come out with bad tattoos just because they see these guys doing tattoos and they assume it's good tattoos, but in reality, they're not that great. So when they do see really nice tattoos, they're just like, well, what happened to the tattoo I got?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're like, well, how come my tattoo doesn't look like that? And so we have to explain, like, not everybody thinks that the same level of tattooing is as good as what it is,
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say. So, like, I knew for a long time that I want to get a tattoo. It's been a while. I've always known, and there's always a couple of different ideas, but obviously, the one thing I think everyone says is make sure you know what you want beforehand, or at least make sure that's what you're comfortable with, because it is permanent, or at least the parts that are not permanent are pretty painful to get removed, I've heard.
Right.
But the one thing that I've seen, at least, is shows like Ink Master. So I'm bringing this up for a reason, because I think it's pretty funny. But, like, when you have shows like Ink Master, that can maybe put people in perspective. My brother and I were talking about this. I mean, it's like, and those guys kind of had like I don't know, but does shows like Ink Master kind of put a bad rep or hurt artists more so than help them?
I think it's good for getting tattooing into
mainstream. Yeah.
But at the same time, when it does that, it makes clients
hesitant.
No, it makes them feel like they know more than they do.
Oh shit! I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
And so they come in and they expect us to be able to draw a full sleeve in 15 minutes.
Yeah. Oh my god. Dude.
And don't get me wrong, with Procreate coming out and having all these different tools that we can use to do tattoos, it's still not possible to do that. I mean, I could probably draw a sleeve in a couple hours, maybe, if it's something I'm super knowledgeable with, and it's something that I'm super interested in.
Yeah, that's definitely a part of it.
But doing research to make sure things look the right way, making sure that it fits the client's body, making sure that you're not going to run into any other issues along the way. That's a big deal, and a lot of people don't realize that, and then they want to get mad at you, and then they go to these guys that tattoo out their house that will only charge them $100 for a sleeve.
Oh my god, dude!
But when they're done, it looks like they got hit by a 3-year-old in a paintball gun.
Yeah.
And then they come to us wanting us to fix it, and it ends up costing them double.
Yeah, because I mean, like with fixing, that's kind of like I guess it can be a win situation depending on the tattoo or what they did, or like I know like what's the color that's hard to cover up, like black, hard black.
Yeah, I mean, it's just you have to try to figure out what's going to work as far as like a cover up. Then you want to make sure it doesn't look too gaudy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, also complementing the body at the same time, making sure it's not a big solid blob.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many factors go into it. And nowadays, I'm doing more cover-ups and reworks than I am actual regular tattoos.
Really?
Yeah. And I honestly think it's because of mainstream media,
Mm-hmm.
you know, putting tattooing out there to the masses and everybody thinking they can do it. And they're like, well, my cousin did this. And,
my cousin.
you know, it's not that bad, right? And I'm just like, no, it's pretty bad, you know?
I think if there's one place I don't want my cousin doing, it's from fucking Georgia. You know, no offense to my cousins out there, because I do have a family that's from Georgia, from Milledgeville.
Yeah.
So no offense to them, but no, I don't want you to do it though. But yeah, that's just definitely one of those things, and that's just kind of funny because I'm sure it kind of puts like a perspective in people, like you said. But damn, man, it's like kind of like you were saying. I mean, I remember when I started going to like an actual barbershop, like a real barbershop and stuff like that, and I remember like reading this one story one time, and it wasn't one of the guys there. It was a different one that I had followed, and it was like, I can't stand when clients come in and they don't have any idea what they want. And it's like, well, damn, man, I don't know what the fuck half this stuff is called. So, I mean, I think you would want to, like, I even give my barber the opportunity, like, hey, man, I want you like to, I was like, tell me what you think works for me or blah, blah, blah. But tattooing is definitely a lot more specific because it's fucking permanent, first of all. Well, two, making sure it fits.
There's a lot of people that do come in and they're like, I don't know what I want. And I don't think that, if I can come up with something right now, I'm actually going to get tattooed. And then as tattooers, we're like, we're just wasting time. But in reality, they have no idea what's going on. So you have to kind of like grab them by the hand and show them what's actually possible.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of tattooers go wrong because, like I said earlier, they expect the clients to know more than they do. So, we get mad at clients because they don't know what they want when if we actually just sit there and take the time, and that's where I think I've progressed a lot as a tattooer is I used to get mad really easily and just give up and be like, look, whenever you know what the fuck you want, come back.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, well, what do you like? What do you do for fun? Check out these books. There's a bunch of designs in here that are really cool. Check out these. Check out this. I can draw this if you like this.
I mean, this whole play. I mean, like looking around, like if I walked in and had no idea, I could figure out something just because there's just such an immense amount of stuff you can go off of.
Right. And to me, I think having flash on the walls is definitely, a tattoo thing that tattoo shops have gotten away from because they want to have private studios.
Mm-hmm. Private with Astro.
Yeah. And they don't have flash on the walls. I mean, even if people don't get the flash that's on the walls, which I enjoy doing still, it gives them an idea of something that they can do.
Yeah.
Like
or some inspiration.
My favorite thing in the world of tattoo is eagles, panthers, and reapers.
Yeah. Dude, my wife would fucking would kill me if I came home with that fucking eagle with the fucking dude. But my man here had this fucking dope eagle, and it's like this pin-up girl eagle with a little cheek showing, dude. Fucking so funny, man. Like it's just like, I mean, if you don't have a sense of humor, then don't even fucking bother. But it was just, I saw that and I was like, oh man, it's so funny. And I just started dying laughing when I saw it. And I was like, that's pretty good. Like, and it was well done too. It wasn't even like it was a bad tooth. I mean, like, not saying you do bad tooth. I'm just saying like, when it's kind of goofy or something like that. Yeah. But it was well done. Like, I mean, I was like, fuck.
I didn't, I'll be honest. The girl that got it was Sierra. And she works here.
Okay.
And anytime I see somebody without one of those tattoos, I'm just like, you need one of these. You have to get one of these. If you're going to get tattooed ever again, you have to get, an eagle or a panther or a reaper. And she's like, well, if I'm going to get an eagle, panther, or reaper, then I want to get this eagle. Because it was kind of like clip art that another artist had put together. So I redrew it kind of how I would do it if I were to draw it. I redrew my version of it. And it came out like that. And it's probably one of my favorite tattoos I've ever done. And it's because she made me step outside the box
uncomfortable
from what
stuff.
I would normally do.
Yeah,
and do
yeah.
something that she really liked and really wanted. And she has an awesome collection of tattoos.
Yeah. So something that I realized, and it was just based on kind of going through your posts and stuff like that, was how much. And I should have known this, just because there's every business, every kind of thing has some kind of background or intricacies and stuff like that. But there's a lot of different variations in like tattoo guns, ink and stuff like that. What's the detail on that? Like, what changes different types of ink versus various inks and guns and stuff.
Realistically, there's not a lot as far as pigments go.
Yeah.
You have predispersed, and then you have pigments that are made from powders. Powders came first, and it's a bunch of old heads they still use. I like using them because to me they tend to stay more vibrant over time.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the predispersed, they go in most of the time a lot easier than the powders do.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I use a little bit of both. Like the black that I'm using on you, it's a pigment, or not a pigment, excuse me. It's a powder pigment. But the majority of the colors that I'm gonna put in on this, which there won't be a lot, but the ones that I do use, they're predispersed.
Okay.
And then as far as tattoo machines, when I do like traditional stuff like this, I'll use my coils like I used earlier, loud, clanky, and all over the fucking place.
Yeah, yeah.
But then when I do like realism or I'm filling something in solid, then I'll use a rotary. And rotaries have come a long way, if you can't tell. I mean, They used to be all RCA connections, and now we're using battery packs, which gives us a little bit more mobility.
Yeah, yeah. I can definitely understand that.
And over time, we've developed, and when I say we, I mean tattooers. Hey, buddy. Wrist problems, arthritis.
What's going on, man?
All that stuff. And so there's constantly, and anything, just like anything else, trying to improve, the machines to help us last longer.
Yeah.
Because, you hit 40 or 50, you've been tattooing 20 years, you've got arthritis and all kind of joint pains and troubles and all that kind of stuff. And, you don't know how much longer you're going to tattoo, so you got to figure out a backup plan.
Yeah.
But with this, they're so light. They're, like I said, they're battery powered. They have just as much power, if not more, than a coil machine.
Mm-hmm.
And they can actually go like way softer than a coil can go, which gives you those nice super light grays and powdery grays for like portraits and stuff.
So what's the most popular tattoo styling these days? Is it generally pretty much American traditional, or is it
I wish.
Really? Oh, really? So it's not. I mean, I kind of figure. I mean, I feel like I always see someone with one, so that's why.
I would like to think, the most popular thing is traditional, but not no more. Nowadays, everybody wants the super simplistic, like line drawings.
Yeah.
So like outlines of tattoos, infinity symbols.
Just end it.
Watercolor style stuff, which is slowly fading away, thankfully. And just in my opinion, I think it's probably the worst trend to ever hit tattooing.
Is it because it fades really easily, or?
Right. Yeah. I mean, sometimes they stand up really well. Sometimes they don't. But more often than not, I see them fade poorly.
Mm-hmm.
But I have seen some that stand up the test of time and last and do really well.
Yeah.
It just really depends. How's that feel? It's not bad, huh?
No, it's not too bad. Well, I figured I'd put it. So that's a good question. As that was one thing. Because I remember that was another thing watching, anything with a TV show or any kind of series or something like that is like different people not being too keen on
especially like first time, and then additionally on top of that, in sensitive areas. So like, what's the worst place as a first time tattoo to go to? Ribs.
It depends.
I guess it depends on the person.
Depends. For me, the worst place that I've been tattooed thus far, probably above my fingernails.
Oh shit, man!
And then, probably the back of my head.
Back of your head.
Yeah. I think anything where you have to tattoo over hair follicles is gonna suck really bad.
Yeah.
And then the super thin, super bony areas.
Yeah. Well, that's why I figured my thigh would be a nice, good.
Yeah.
Starting
Thighs
spot.
are a great spot. So eyes, arms, legs in general.
Yeah. It's funny because I had my barber. He's completely tatted up completely, and he came in when I came in one day to get a tattoo. Not a tattoo, to get a haircut. He had shaved his head, and he had gotten a Mayan tattoo on top of his head. And I just remember I was like, dude, how fucking bad did that hurt? And he goes, dude, he said, I'm like legitimately like in a really bad mood because it hurts so fucking bad. And I was like, damn, dude. And he's, like I said, he's tatted up. And shout out to him because hopefully Soda City Barbershop, man, I get them on the podcast too. But the working class. But stuff like this, man, it's like, are there really, do people kind of forget how much time and input it takes, for tattoo shops and stuff like that? Because what's the working hours for a tattooist, generally speaking?
24/7.
24/7.
Yeah.
That's fucking rough.
The iPads have made it a lot easier, to get things done at work.
Mm-hmm.
But I think more the fact that we're perfectionists.
Yeah.
And want to make sure that when we do a tattoo, it's perfect. Then we're going to be working on it at home.
Yeah.
We're going to be working at it when we can't sleep. Working on it when we're spending time with our families. And that's honestly what I've had to figure out during my career is
find that break.
The midway period between too much work and not enough,
Is the tattoo industry like family wise? Is it normally a solo gig kind of thing, or is it normally like a single thing, or is it normally like it's just what it's no difference?
For a long time, it's been one of those things where we try to keep our family as far away from it as possible.
Yeah.
Just because there's not always a bunch of solid characters in it, I guess.
Yeah.
But a lot, but more recent within the last couple of years, people have been, bringing their family more into the picture and trying to make it more family friendly, more family oriented, just because I guess realizing that spending so much time away from their family is detrimental to the whole thing as far as your marriage and kids go. And we want to try to be a healthier person because of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you so like one thing I was gonna say is like what's the motivation for most tattoo artists? Is it like having their own shop or their own branding or their own styling, or is it like everybody, or is it more or less just creating solid tattoos for some people, and some people have the inspiration of being like a shop owner and stuff? Like
it depends, like for me it's to not suck.
Not suck.
To be able to provide for the family, and then in the end make it to where I don't have to work as much and I can relax but still tattoo and get by.
Yeah.
I don't want to be rich. I just want to be comfortable.
Just be happy.
That type of mindset.
Dude, there's a quote one of my buddies says, Izzy, and he's like, I just want to live out in the woods, dude, and be live comfortably, live happily. And it's funny, he's not mentioning like anything in life, which he is.
Right.
We're talking about gaming, to be honest with you. but it's true though, man. It's like, I think, what fun is it to make a shit ton of money if you, as a person, are just so unhappy and just, compared to doing something that you enjoy doing on a per basis and just talking with you and then like talking about how time you put into clientele and stuff like that, especially nowadays. Do you think your family and stuff has kind of made you more patient dealing with customers and stuff like that, or learning to kind of like okay, well, what can I help you with, kind of thing?
Big time.
Yeah.
Definitely having kids, because I mean, to be honest, dealing with my kids or dealing with clients is a lot like dealing with my kids.
Yeah.
Because you have to show
Kinda
them
guide them
the
through.
right way of doing things or going about things. And then having the patience to be like, no, that's not what you want to do. You want to do this. And then having them slowly understand, just like a child would, and wanting to go about certain things the right way.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's super similar. You got to be patient. If you don't have patience, you're not going to have clients. And
yeah.
You can't make money if you don't have clients. You can't make nice tattoos if you don't have clients.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I love tattooing for what it is, and it's not all about the money. But I can't pay my bills with nice tattoos unless I'm getting paid for them. You know?
Absolutely.
So,
what's a misconception about tattooing, just in general?
that we're I don't know, that you all got it's all miscreants, and to a point, a lot of us are.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're good miscreants. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, there used to be this saying that tattoos are for
motherfuckers,
pirates and whores.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like everybody can be a pirate in their own way. You just gotta find a way to do it without going to jail.
Yeah.
All right, I need to get some water and then get some color.
Cool, dude. I need some water too. Can you give my Nalgene real quick?
Doing all right now?
Yeah, man, I'm okay. Man, I will. When we were at the top of the scythe, man, I was about to say that fucking. Oh man, that juicy skin, man. I was say, oh shit. About to say, you can see where I fucking was clenching on the side.
What color do you like for the eyes?
Let's see here.
Okay. This is more of a turquoise. That's more of a green.
I think I kind of like the. What do you think, Jack? What do you think, dude? Blue or green for eye? Blue. Can't believe I'm letting my younger brother decide. Ooh, see, I like the other blue though. Yeah, that's a dope blue right there.
I want to make sure that we run off of them together. That way we don't have just like one solid tone and have like a nice transition.
Yeah. So, with tattooing, how often are you like practicing and stuff like that at home and stuff?
I mean, I draw and I paint at home. But I mean, as far as like practicing, there is no practicing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it's application from.
Obviously, we have thick skin and stuff. Like this.
Oh shit! What's this? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
oh, this is pig. This is pig skin.
No, this is just silica.
Oh, gotcha. I thought you said for some reason I heard skin. So that's
fake skin.
Yeah, synthetic. So this is supposed to be as real as possible. The closest thing.
I mean, it's cool to work on.
Yeah.
But you're not getting the same effect
as a real person and stuff like that. Yeah. So, what is the closest thing to like human skin? I've heard pig skin. Pig skin.
Yeah. But I've never tattooed on it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. It was just never a thing that was brought to me to use or to try out.
Mm-hmm.
And my mentor was never into it. He was never like, "Oh, try this." He was just like, "Dude, tattoo.
Yeah.
Don't fuck out."
Yeah. Because obviously, especially when you're when you have an apprentice on, you don't want to have an apprentice who's fucking things up, and then because then that hurts their business as well. And they don't want to come back. But how many apprentices are normally at a shop? I guess it just depends.
If you're lucky, none.
None.
None, because
it takes work away. And
the
stuff.
Industry is so saturated with people now that for every one good tattooer, you have maybe 5 that aren't. You know what I mean? And that's the downfall, and that's why we're doing so much cover-ups, because it's not just the guys doing tattoos at home that we're covering up. You know, there's
actual
tattoos in shops, you know?
Yeah.
And
is he picking up all right?
That out loud, but it's true.
Well, I think he's about to come back in.
But I mean, it's not a good feeling to know that somebody went 2 blocks away, got tattooed, and now you're having to fix it.
Yeah.
So realistically, you want to make sure that if you are going to put somebody into the industry, that they're going to actually follow through, finish, and be good, and then they're going to stick around your studio for a while.
Yeah.
You benefit from helping teach them to be good.
Do you see, or some people, or do you have a lot of people who are like repeat customers who come back to the same artist, or do the people go around? Yeah.
Well, like I tell my clients all the time, I was like, I'd rather you be a collector than, stick around and just get tattooed by me, which, don't get me wrong, is not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'd like people collecting. That way they have different styles from different people. Whereas if you're going to collect from me, I'm not mad about it. I have people that have almost full body suits that I've done. Like, I've done their legs, arms, and now I'm working on their torso or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm definitely not mad about it.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask. So, like, when you're doing stuff like that, like, what's the most? And you can answer it because I know there's always going to be something that when you have to do, like, even if you enjoy doing it, but you're just like, oh man, I gotta do this. But like, what's a tattoo, or what's a styling, or even a place that you just like dread doing? Whether it just be because of time consuming or the amount of like attention to detail that you have to do. Like, what's one of those?
I don't have a problem with styles because I like doing things. I mean, if there's something I can't do, I'm gonna let Q-Lock or somebody like that do it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like doing lion's heads. I'm not as good at doing a lion's mane as Q-Lock is. Q-Lock is a beast.
He said he hated it too.
He doesn't like it, but he's good at it. He does hair really well.
Yeah.
And so, like, although I enjoy doing portraits, and I'll do them with hair, I don't like doing lions because there's so much of it. So I'll be like, hey, you can do this.
Yeah. Do you get a lot of people coming in for lions and stuff like that often, or?
There's a good bit. There's a good bit. Maybe once a month you'll have one person.
Once every month? So
and it's annoying, honestly.
Yeah.
There's only so many ways you could do that.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to get the same 2 or 3.
Yeah. Yeah, why would you get some generic like a lion or like a reaper or something? Yeah.
The thing is, though, with a reaper, with eagles, with panthers, there are so many different ways you can do it.
Yeah.
There are so many different looks, so many different styles. How many different fucking styles of lion heads do you see?
Yeah, that's
true.
You
know what I mean?
I'll be honest. Yeah.
To me, that's a big thing. Like, if you want me to do a reaper, I'll do a reaper, but I'm gonna either do it in a way it hasn't been done, or I'm gonna change up a bunch of stuff about it to make it look different than the original image. Yeah. If you look at the tattoo I've done versus the image you gave me, it looks different.
Yeah.
It's the same exact thing, but it looks completely different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to me, that's the great thing about tattooing.
Yeah. Putting a little branding and styling.
Right.
So that's a good part to bring up and start talking about, in my opinion, is obviously one thing that I've chatted with people is like, when it comes to design and artistry, and like you said, there's only so many ways you can do like a lion. But, obviously, especially with the entrance, this is going to be the downside to social media and to technology is like, I won't say the theft of stuff, but like you were saying, like all the different books and stuff that you have and utilize. And do you see a lot of theft or a lot of stealing of designs or ideas or styling in tattoos? But at the end of the day, it's like, as long as you have a styling or an input and then you put your own little brand or piece on it or touch on it, doesn't that kind of change it up? Or what's the outlook on that?
That's
what do you think?
Other super controversial thing in tattooing, I think. That and art school.
Yeah.
In my opinion, there is nothing that has not been tattooed. Literally anything you can think of has been done before.
Yeah, you're talking about millions of people.
If somebody comes in here and it's like, I want an eagle, you're going to take your favorite tattooers and you're going to take your favorite part of the eagle from each person.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to do an eagle, I would do like an eagle head that one person did, the feet from another person, the wings from another person, maybe the tail feathers from another person, put them together and make an eagle that to you is the best parts from everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
why reinvent the wheel?
Exactly. It's been done millions of times. So you're not doing anything that's different. And if you try to do something that's different, it's not going to look as good.
Yeah, I was about to say, when you try to, that's like one of those things, right? The classic mantra, when you try to do too much is when you fuck up.
Yeah, I definitely think so.
Oh yeah, man, that one, I felt that one on the way down. Won't even lie.
It's all good. We're almost done.
I will say though, I actually fucking hate needles though. But this is kind of like a different kind of pressure though. But I mean, it's like,
Yeah, it's not the same. I always hear people saying, well, tattooed people hate getting shots the most. I don't mind it, but it's a completely different thing, A shot's going in you like in half an inch, 3/4 of an inch.
Right.
This is going into you
high rate,
like 1/32 to 1/16 of an inch. So it's completely different. You have 5 layers of skin and you're going down to the third, Yeah. Woo. And if you go any deeper than that,
you're in trouble. Yeah, you're in trouble.
Like I've definitely seen people get tattoos and they're touching their soul.
Oh shit, dude.
But I mean, if anything helps you, you'll learn.
Yeah. Do you think some parts of tattoo, why people get so many tattoos, is like an addiction? I've heard that getting tattoos is extremely addictive.
Yeah, I mean, I think wanting to be covered is an addiction. I don't think the pain is an addiction. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or the other thing about it is people that have self-harm issues, instead of, hurting themselves, they'll go
get someone else
tattooed. And instead of having razor marks all the way up their arm or their leg, they get tattooed. So they get the same satisfaction and same release.
Oh, man. So you do have people like that will come through and stuff?
Yeah,
wow.
For sure. And I'd much rather them get tattooed than them hurt themselves with a razor blade. Because you fuck around and nick an artery, you're done.
Ooh, yeah.
Whereas you get tattooed, you get that release, and you don't have to worry about bleeding everywhere, and you have a nice piece of artwork afterwards.
Yeah, or something to remember it by, or something to recollect it.
Right.
What would you say is like the epicenter of going and getting tattooed? Like, where often do you see a lot of popular artists coming through?
Honestly, the big cities: Atlanta, Portland,
Milwaukee,
Los Angeles, New York.
Yeah. What about in like the Carolinas? Is there a lot of big epicenter? I mean, you did say Atlanta, and I'm sure Miami and stuff, but like
the things about I like about Carolina is that you have places like Asheville or Lexington or Somerville or Charleston, and you have these awesome tattooers that people have heard of at shops that people haven't.
Yeah.
And it makes people want to go explore, I think, to see if they can find a tattooer that hasn't, hit mainstream that is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Because there definitely is. I don't think all the great tattooers are known. There's tattooers out there that don't want to be in the limelight. There's tattooers out there that don't want anything to do with being well known. They just want to make tattoos and be left the hell alone. Which realistically is kind of what we want to do.
Yeah.
Because I feel like anytime you bring fame into something, it just ruins it.
Yeah.
You let it ruin
manipulates it and kind of alters the original, like with the original purpose or the original image or mission.
Right. Yeah. And that's the biggest fucking, I guess, history repeats itself type deal.
Yeah.
Because anytime you've ever seen anything, before it was known, it was a great thing. And then, like tattooing going on TV, after a while, they kind of just messed it all up.
Yeah.
Albeit, it's got more people to get tattooed. But now we have people that think they know everything about tattooing that don't know a damn thing about it. But you're going to have that with anything. I don't mind taking the good with the bad.
Yeah. I also like, in some, I won't say shows, but like in some places or some things, sometimes you'll see like people who are kind of frowned upon in reality within the industry, or some of the people that are on shows like Ink Master kind of frowned upon. Like no one really gives a shit about those guys. It's just because it's popular. Just
or people that have nothing to do with our industry.
Yeah.
Being the front runner of the show.
It was funny because I was talking to someone about that, and I was like, I kind of had forgotten who that was until I looked him up. I was like, man, I knew that he sounded familiar, but I was like, man, honestly,
I didn't even know who he was whenever he was on.
Yeah,
there.
I was about to say, when I saw him though, I was like, man, honestly, his tattoos kind of fucking suck. But maybe it's just me. I don't know.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
Yeah, but I mean, no offense to anyone in here who's done one. I'm just saying, but it just seems, yeah. I mean, that's what I was wondering. I'll be honest. I had something in my mind that fucking hit me right there in the inside, and it kind of caught my attention. So.
Yeah, I don't know, man. People that have nothing to do with tattooing that profit off of it drives me wild.
Yeah.
And I don't like it. But again, anything out there, we're doing the same thing with.
What's something about clients that can be kind of frustrating? Is it them demanding perfection on something when, at the end of the day, we're talking about human hands. It's not a robot doing it.
I mean, there's an aspect for sure, but I make sure that I give everybody the lecture. I'm like, look, I'm not a robot. I'm not perfect. The reason you get stuff like this is because you like the handmade aspect of it.
Yeah.
And then you also have the aspect that they don't give you leeway. You know, you want artwork, but if you're not going to let me sit here and put my twist on it, then why are you even here? Or somebody that will come to me, and I'm known for doing traditional and realism mashups,
right?
And they want me to do like black work or mandalas and stuff like that, or watercolor. Like, I love your style, but can you do something that is not your style?
Yeah. Well, that's something I was gonna say, because like we were talking about Ink Masters, like kind of sucks because some of these guys get put in bad benders where they're crazy good such and such or crazy good that, and then they get ousted because they have to do this one specific bullshit thing, and then on top of that, the client aspect of what the client is wanting, or they get a bad client, and then it's like, well, damn, man, it's like you're kind of putting them in a bad bind, regardless.
Yeah.
But
I think all tattooers should be able to do most things. Well versed. Like if somebody asks me what I enjoy doing or what I'm good at, I'm just like, whatever walks through the door. Because ultimately, whatever comes through is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to try to do the best of my ability.
Yeah.
And if I'm not, then I'm not making money. There's a lot of tattooers out there that can be one-trick ponies and have niches and be busy nonstop and be completely okay doing that. And then you have people like me. Like I always aspired to be like Tim Beck. Tim Beck's a tattooer in Peoria, Illinois, and can literally do anything. You walk in, you want a portrait, he can do it. You walk in and want dot work, you can do it. Flowers, lettering, anything, you can do it. And that's what I've always wanted to do. Is just be that guy that, I'm not perfect at everything, but I'm good at a lot of things.
Yeah.
And like I said before, I don't think I'm nobody to hold a stick to anybody. I just try to make good tattoos.
Yeah.
I try to make good tattoos. I try to be a good dad. I try to be a good husband. You know, I just try to be good.
Yeah.
Because in the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much money you got or how many clients you got or what kind of clients you have. It's about being a good person, you know?
Yeah. It was funny because you mentioned about doing a couple of different stuff and everything, and I had a good friend tell me at one point about, like, you know, doing, like you said earlier, like doing like 200 roses or something like that. And that was kind of a piece of advice that she had given me, was like, especially like within some design, is like focusing on one type of design and then doing it over and over again until you perfect it. And, like, you know, don't try to do too much, you know, too fast and stuff like that. Well, I love the fact you added the fucking gold, dude. I meant to bring that up and I almost fucking forgot. I love it, dude.
I do it in all of myself.
Do you really? Hell yeah. Do you, but I was just, and that's what I was just going to say. And then shout out to Sarah, but that's something that she had always improvised. And it was actually like a YouTube video, or I can't remember what the guy, I think he does design or something along those lines. But one thing that he did was like practicing. I think it was, man, I can't remember what it was. It was some kind of bird. He wasn't a tattoo artist, but it was like some kind of bird, and he would just do one version of a bird like every single day or a couple times. But that was just one aspect, you know, and it's kind of cool being able to put that. I'm gonna wait a second. that fucking inside, man, that fucking just kills me. But
it's just like anything else. If you do it enough,
you can get better at it.
You're gonna be good at it.
Yeah.
You can suck at bowling. You can suck at playing ping pong. You can suck at playing pool. You can suck at tattooing. But if you do it long enough, you're gonna get good at it.
Yeah.
So not always true.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. So, like, one thing I was gonna ask or bring up is so obviously, like, right now we're wearing masks. You know, like you said, we have to do it. Blah blah blah. I understand. But one thing I was gonna say, how much detriment did COVID put on the tattoo industry, especially since it is a person to person kind of gig? Did it hurt you guys any when you were doing it last year and this year?
Out in the West Coast, they shut everybody down. Like in California, they're still shut down in a lot of places, which is fucking us more than anything.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But you got places like here that are wide open.
Because everyone wants to get their tattoos done now.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when they opened us back up, the first month they had us open was probably, I made the most money in 1 month that I've made my entire career.
Wow.
And at any one point in time. For
Yeah.
a month, you know, not like all together, but it was one of those things where business was booming, you know.
Yeah.
And I was stoked about it, but at the same time, making sure that we take the precautions that we have to take to
Right.
make sure everybody is staying safe, because there's no amount of money in the world that's worth risking your life for unless you're not contracting, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, like when you're doing stuff like this, I mean, when you're so close, I mean, you're gonna be within, you know, proximity, and I mean, mask or not, you're still there. And then, of course, previous clients too.
Well, like over in California, you got people going to get their hair done, but you can't get a tattoo.
Yeah. What the hell?
Sense does that make?
Yeah.
Or you can go and sit on a patio at a restaurant, and as soon as you sit down, you can take your mask off and order food. But I can't sit here and tattoo you with a mask on. You know what I mean? Okay. I just finished that. Alright, so Witch Hazel's gonna chill the bleeding out.
Okay.
Close up your pores, stop the bleeding. That way you can get a good picture.
Gotcha.
You get to go.
Damn, that wasn't that bad, man. Wasn't that bad?
You know, kind of quick, you know, to where it gets done quicker, but not fuck with the quality.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess there's a balance too, because you don't want to be too fast, then you can feel sloppy, and that you don't want to go too slow.
I've tried to purposely slow myself down, and it makes it look like shit.
Yeah, I see. I hear.
It's not good, and I can't do it. it makes me a better tattooer.
Yeah.
Just go the speed that I go.
Comfortable
at
at?
slowing myself down just for the sake of looking like I'm trying. You know what I mean?
How strict or obviously when you get involved in a project or you're doing something, time can change and alter. And how often do you find yourself where you meet your window? Like, is it pretty frequently that you're on the window mark, or is it where you have an idea?
Within 15 minutes, I can get myself to where I'm at. And then sometimes I'm sitting here. I was like, oh shit, I need another hour. Or,
you
know what? I finished this in 30 minutes and I have 3 hours of time that I have left. So find me somebody else to tattoo on. You know?
Yeah.
If somebody calls in, tell them I can tattoo on, you know? So it really just depends on the tattoo.
Yeah.
Realism definitely takes me longer to do, just because you want to make sure that it's perfect, as close to life as possible.
Yeah.
And then with traditional, I zip right through it. You know, it's lines black color or lines in black, so you can't really
fuck it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that. So I can get a good picture with the camera too, and I can get it sent to you too.
I got a filter that takes out the UV light.
Yeah.
Takes the glare off of it. It's awesome. It makes for such better tattoo pictures.
Mm-hmm. So, like, what's the healing process? Like, normally, give or take.
Well, it depends on what healing process we do.
Yeah.
You can do soap and water, lotion 3 to 4 times a day, or what I like to use, which is Sanoderm. Shout out to Sanoderm because it's awesome. Make my tattoos again. You put the Sanoderm on, and then you leave that on for 4 days, and then 4 days later you take it off, and I'd say you're about 75% healed.
Damn.
It cuts healing time in half. It helps you heal easier. There's less pain involved during the healing process because you, like I said earlier, you're making a scab on somebody.
Yeah.
And when it scabs up, it gets hard and it hurts. But it depends on what kind of scab there is. There's so many different factors that go into it.
Yeah.
You know, if you can technically apply a tattoo well, then it won't scab apart. It'd be a white scab. It'd be like getting a sunburn and peeling.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Which is the ideal
Perfect
situation.
yeah.
Right. But with, the Sanoderm, you put it on, it's like a synthetic but breathable skin, and it helps you get through that entire process. And then when you peel it off, the scab comes off with it.
Yeah.
So it's rad. I
Oh,
like
wow.
it.
Yeah. Or if you want to wait till he wipes it one more time. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. And then just make the color pop, I guess.
Well, it takes the glare out.
Yeah.
And whenever that happens, it allows for like the true colors of the tattoo to come through.
Do you have a certain tattoo that you did in the past that you just still love or like look back to, or a turning point?
From like not being good to getting good.
Oh, I mean, it can be. It didn't have to be necessarily that, or if there's just a specific tattoo that you did that you were just like over this world, like you're like, man, like that was just a fucking.
I did a portrait of Burt Reynolds.
Oh shit, did you?
The Trans Am from Smokey and the Bandit, and that was probably like the tattoo where I was just
amazed,
super happy with.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, right.
Rip. Dude, I found that a lot of people have never watched a lot of his old school movies.
That
like his what's that?
So that kills me.
Dude, like Gator and like stuff like his old school movies, and like they just think of like Longest Yard. I mean, like what's his old school classic?
Smoking the Bandit.
Smoking the Bandit, Gator. What's the Gator sequel? I cannot remember what it's called, man. Like that's actually a pretty good movie too.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't believe I forgot it. But he was also in there was another movie where they're doing the rally racing across, and like there's actually a bunch of big names in that movie too. What's that? Damn, what's that movie? But yeah, he's like a driver and stuff like that, and they go across and like fucking Sean, what's his name's in that one too? Not Sean, whatever the other James Bond. He was in there too.
Pierce Brosnan.
No, not Pierce Brosnan. It was Roger Moore. There we go. Roger Moore was in it. Dude, there was like this wacky fucking doctor in it too.
There we go. God, I love these new iPhones.
Dude, aren't they amazing?
When they're not shattered on the first day.
Yeah.
All right. That's it.
That's all she wrote.
That's all she wrote.
Well, man, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
It's been a great, again, James Armstrong over at Pain and Wonder Tattoo over in Athens, and man, it's been fun.
Yeah, dude, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's good.
See you next time.
Hell yeah, dude. We'll go shooting and do some stuff, do some suppressor stuff, and all kinds of what have you. But yeah, it'll be fun. Thanks again, man. Been a pleasure. And episode, Thanks again, man. Great telling your story, telling a little bit about it, a little bit more background, and there we go. Cool. That's all she wrote. Hey, go ahead and put the button. There you go. I just don't want it to run off top.